Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
80% of falls in the home occur in the bathroom. Don't put yourself or a loved one at risk. There's a safe bathing system for everyone's budget.
Enjoy a bathing experience that combines safety, comfort, and excellence. If assisted living is not for you, a BCI walk-in tub may well be the answer, giving you the safety and freedom to live independently. A BCI walk-in tub is the most affordable and comfortable walk-in tub in the market today. With our dual drain technology, your tub will drain quickly, and for those that still like the feature of a shower, our two-way bliss gives you both a handheld and overhead shower head. We offer the best financing in the industry with payments as low as $99 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months with approved credit. For comfort, safety, price, and selection, it's got to be BCI Walk-In Tub. Be one of the first 50 callers and save $1,500.
Call 800-354-4377, 800-354-4377 for a free no obligation in-home consultation.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to another edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. I'm Doug Weischadle here with Dave Weischadle. We're here to give you a whip-around look at some of the news stories that happened in the sports betting industry over the past week. Numbers segment, we've got some full-year numbers to report from different states. We've also got some records to talk about. In our deals segment, we've got deals involving Fanatics, Caesars, Genius, USI, even a Tipico deal to talk about as well. Yeah. Industry updates. We've got news coming out of the Fanatics camp. We've got Caesars as well. We've got a bunch of launches to talk about. We've got the NBA. And we're going to end up the show with our legislative roundup, dealing with some news about legislation in New York, Maryland updates, Massachusetts, and even Ohio.
Yeah, we have a big launch for the state of Massachusetts.
Yes, that's coming up.
I shouldn't call it the state of Massachusetts. I should call it the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yes, they prefer the Commonwealth.
They look at me funny when I'm up there and I say state of Massachusetts. So. Well, Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
One other news to report, BetFred Sports did a very unique action is what you can call it. They paid out all the Cincinnati Bengals bets on their Ohio sportsbook.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Also in Las Vegas, the founder of BetFred was out there, so he made an appearance, Fred Dones.
Well, he's the one who made the announcement.
Yeah,
so that was
great.
Actually very cool of BetFred to do.
I love that. Yeah, no, By the way, if you don't know the backstory of BetFred, it's a great story. Go look it up. It has one of the best origin stories of any sports book out there.
Or listen to the interview you did with Brian
Bennett
from BetFred. Yeah. He talked about the origins of the sports book as well.
Yeah,
very interesting story.
Very interesting.
Well, let's start off the show with our state and national reports in our numbers segment. Well, like I said, we've got full year numbers to report because everybody's starting to report their December sports betting revenue handle numbers, as well as we've even got some records coming out of December as well for a couple different states. Let's start off with New York. That's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this.
Don't we always
last
start
week.
with New York?
Well, we include them somewhere.
Oh, we include them, yeah.
Yes,
The number one sports betting market in the country.
We
yeah.
make room for them.
Yes.
I think I mentioned this last week, but I just want to say it here. New York State passed $17 billion for the calendar year of 2022 for their mobile sports betting industry in terms of handle.
Yeah.
It was 17.1 and change.
Which is also history because last year was their first year of mobile sports betting. So
I think they hit a mark that no one's going to touch in terms of first year.
Unless California gets on the ball and does sports betting, California is the only state that could challenge the numbers coming out of New York
on the mobile side.
But right now, New York is king, and we all bow down.
There may be a state or two that comes out of the woodwork for total handle, but for mobile, right now, $17.1 billion in New York for 2022.
Yeah,
amazing numbers.
Yep.
Connecticut reported their December numbers. And with that December number for the first full year of legal wagering, remember they started in late October around Halloween of 2021.
Yeah.
So this is their first, 2022 was their first full year of legal sports betting, just over $1.5 billion in handle for the first year. That's total, mobile as well as retail.
And speaking as someone who drives through Connecticut a lot, they have embraced the sports betting lifestyle. I mean, you can't drive down any road without seeing a billboard about make game day payday for I think that was FanDuel, and I know Sugar House. Yep. They actually still call it Sugar House
in
up there.
In Connecticut, it's still Sugar
Everywhere
House.
else is Bet Rivers, but up there it's Sugar House. So no, they are really. It's a really great sports betting market, and they really seem to be enjoying it.
And they actually finished the year strong. They had 3 straight months of at least $160 million in total handle. Mm-hmm. And for a state that size, that's a good number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Louisiana reported their December numbers as well as their full year numbers. First full year of legal wagering in Louisiana, a total handle, that's mobile and retail, $2.3 billion. They had a record in December for gross revenue of $37.2 million. That's the fourth time in Louisiana's history they hit that $30 million mark for monthly revenue.
Louisiana always fascinates me. It's a very interesting sports betting market. What we call counties in a state, they call parishes, and not all parishes allow sports betting. So if you want to see the amazing work that GeoComply does with their geofencing, take a look at Louisiana because it's on full display in that state.
Pennsylvania finished their year with over $7 billion in handle, just over $7.25 billion. And adjusted gross revenue, that's after you take out all the promos and free bets and deductions, they had just over $400 million in revenue for the year. Arkansas. We don't talk too much about Arkansas too much.
I actually saw. I was thinking about Arkansas the other day. I was watching.
Really?
I was watching the Razorbacks college basketball. I'm getting into college basketball now because I want to crush the brackets this year in March Madness. So I've been really watching a lot of college basketball at night. So and Arkansas was one of the teams.
Well, Arkansas set records for handle and revenue in December. As a matter of fact, they've been doing that every month for the last couple of months. They had a handle of $30.9 million in terms of total handle because they just introduced mobile, and revenue was just over $3.4 million for the month of December.
Okay,
both records. New Jersey, and I have to thank Chris Altruda for this because he keeps track of parlays.
Yes,
he does an incredible job with it. Chris Altruda of Better Collective.
Yes. New Jersey guy now living in Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago
Illinois.
area. Illinois out in
yeah.
Chicago area. Every time I look at him on Twitter, he's somewhere in Chicago or doing the updates for their sports betting.
According to Chris, and he's been keeping track of parlay betting, not only just across the country, but he also brings up New Jersey a lot too.
Sure.
Parlays accounted for 62% of all New Jersey sports betting revenue in 2022.
Well, as a guy sitting in New Jersey, I can tell you they're really promoting the parlays. The books are really promoting the parlays, especially same game parlays.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong; they're fun to play. You keep them
reasonable and be responsible with them. Keep in mind that old axiom that parlays don't build bankrolls, they build sports books. So it's the odds are pretty long that you're going to win on a parlay. But when you do, it's great. But more often than not, you don't.
As we're taping this, I'm actually on a streak of at least 6 straight parlays winnings on NBA basketball.
But you do it reasonably. You kind of.
I'm using it to build.
You finesse the lines. There are when the attainable goals of the same game, right? You're
Same
talking
game.
about. There are attainable goals of the players involved in the sport.
If you do
I've seen some of your parlays; they're reasonable. They're not crazy, nuts out of whack.
But if you do the right combinations, you get a good return.
Oh, sure. And
that's where you got to figure out with the parlays.
But you're not swinging for the fences either.
No,
you're being reasonable with this.
No,
stuff.
I'm not.
The problem is when people not be reasonable with parlays. When we interview Chris, the greatest point he makes is when you have these parlays that they're crazy odds and they're how many legs that you have. Yeah. Essentially, you're holding a lottery ticket instead of a sports betting ticket. So that's keep them responsible.
Well, now that you say that, my last parlay that I won was 8 legs.
Okay. Well, again, they're 8 legs.
They're reasonable.
They're reasonable and obtainable for the players involved.
And I did the figuring, and I got a really good return.
Yeah,
on that lineup of what I did. So there's a lot of different ways you can do parlays. So keep that
maybe
in mind.
We'll do a segment on Turnpike.
Yep.
And you can do
I can
Doug's crazy ass parlays.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could do that.
I don't know how could that be promoting parlays. I know the sports books would love it, but responsible parlays. There you go. Okay.
All right, let's head on over to some deals. This week's deal segment has a whole bunch of different deals to talk about, but we're going to start off with a report coming out of CNBC.
Okay.
CNBC has reported that Fanatics has signed a letter of intent to acquire BetParks, the sports betting platform, from Greenwood Gaming.
And, of course, Parks is a big casino right across the Delaware River from us in Pennsylvania, Salem, Pennsylvania, which is I think it's 2 miles away from the Philadelphia city limit.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is interesting because Fanatics just recently, I want to say within 3 to 4 months ago, they just received a huge amount of funding. And one of the areas they're going to be using the funding for are mergers and acquisitions.
Good.
And here we are. At the beginning when Rubin, the CEO, announced that Fanatics was going to launch in 20 to 25 sports betting markets right off the bat, everyone was wondering how that could be done because of all the licensing procedures.
Sure.
They're already in a couple states already. Massachusetts, they just opened one in Maryland. We'll talk about that later in the industry update segment.
Okay.
But
are they in Jersey? I don't know if they're in Jersey.
This is the way it makes sense.
They need to be in Jersey.
They got to do more of these
Selfishly
deals.
speaking.
They got to do more of these deals. Well, if they acquire BetParks, they're in New Jersey.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So now,
I'm for it.
It's a letter of intent, but it goes to where that company strategy comes into play, where everybody thought they were kind of nuts announcing 20 markets right off the bat. This is how you do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This is how you do it. You already you acquire somebody who already has the market access. So
I like
pending
Fanatics.
regulatory, and also this is early stages. They signed the letter of intent, but we don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition. But it makes sense.
I can tell you, I got to tell you, you can't watch TV without seeing BetParks somewhere or on social media.
Well,
Bet
in this
Park
area,
somewhere. In New Jersey. So this is the perfect area for.
Well,
because BetParks has such a great name in the industry, and it's such a great thing to acquire.
Well, right now BetParks is New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, those 3 places. So that's a good move for them because Michigan gives them the most coverage both for sports betting as well as online casino.
By the way, one of my favorite retail sports books is Parks Casino because it is huge.
It's comfortable too.
It's very comfortable. It's just an amazing property.
Speaking of another deal, going up to Massachusetts, we have Caesars Entertainment announcing a partnership with Raynham Park, which is the old dog track. Up in Massachusetts.
Is it even in use right now?
It is in use in terms of they're going to be building a temporary sports book.
Now they are, yeah.
Yes.
They're actually building a retail sports book.
This was interesting because Raynham was originally set to do a deal with Bet365. Bet365 announced they were pulling out.
Okay.
So they ended ties there. I'm talking about Bet365 out of the state.
Oh,
not
okay.
just the deal
Just,
with
you know,
Raynham Park,
okay.
but just out of the state. So Caesar stepped in. They are going to be building a temporary book with Raynham Park. They're going to be looking at doing a permanent book later on in the year.
Okay.
Retail.
I'm excited because I like Caesar's retail sportsbooks layout. I mean, if Atlantic City is any indication, it's one of the biggest and one of the it's a stadium style kind of thing,
Yes.
and I really like those. I'm not real crazy about the sports bar looking sports book. You know, Borgata's a great place. I love Borgata. I love BetMGM and things like that. Yeah, it has sometimes, you know, if I want a burger and a beer and I want to bet on the football game or baseball game in front of me, Borgata is great. But for that actual experience, I love those stadium style ones.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting retail book when it gets built. The permanent one, 30,000 square feet, 2 restaurants, a bar, private event space. It's going to be a really big entertainment complex more than just a
That's
sports
great
book.
because the Caesars one in Atlantic City has its self-serve beer taps.
Yep.
Which always sounds like a great idea, but at the end of the night, probably not.
Speaking of beer taps, we have Tipico.
Oh, okay.
In Ohio, Tipico's made a deal with the Rheingeist Brewery.
Oh, okay.
To
Boy,
create-
I just led you right into that one, huh?
There
How
you
about
go.
that? Huh?
You got to love segues.
Wow. I didn't even know you were doing that one, by the way.
But we got the Tipico Sports Deck coming. Basically, it's a Tipico branded sports lounge with sports betting involved at the Rheingeist Brewery.
Great.
So we've seen this before, and it's going to be interesting to see Tipico's name everywhere because Tipico's doing a huge push in Ohio, which is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
They really haven't done too much elsewhere, but Ohio seems to be their crown jewel right now.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to watch Tipico grow there.
Great.
We have a deal involving the PGA Tour, actually a couple deals. PGA did a deal, and they extended their deal with Genius Sports,
Okay.
and then they did a new deal, or they did a deal, this is their first time, with U.S. Integrity.
Oh, good.
For integrity monitoring, educational methods, all that. And speaking of USI Integrity also did a integrity deal with the UFC.
Okay.
So, and we've been following what's been going on with the UFC with their issues with the
Apparently they're
the
back,
betting issues.
Yeah, apparently they're back in Canada, right?
Yep.
They're allowed back in Canada.
Well, funny
Well,
you should,
not
funny,
that,
funny you
betting
should
is,
say that.
Betting is allowed back in Canada.
Funny you should say that one now.
Oh.
And we're going to go to the industry
Oh,
updates
I
and
am-
lead into this.
I am so on point today.
There you
oh
go.
my God.
See what happens when you prepare?
I didn't prepare at all.
All righty, let's head on over to the industry updates.
You know what I'm saying? For everybody. Oh. Game starts at 20, bet slip is empty. I gotta call KG.
KG, what
I
up?
got nothing for you, Fox.
Ah, come on. What you got, huh?
And it's spa day, Jamie. You don't interrupt spa day.
Ah, okay. Gracie, what's up?
I need some tips.
Jamie, you want a tip? Yeah.
No.
Come on, somebody. Jalen, what's up, man?
You want a tip?
Yeah. You really want a tip? I really need some tips.
Don't call somebody on live TV, Jamie Foxx.
Well, you answered. Have other friends anyway. Marshawn, Barry, holla.
Jamie Foxx. Hey, what's up with it, Fox?
Listen, I need some tips.
I like LA.
LA?
No, Dallas. No,
Dallas?
Dallas not the
Dallas?
best. We gotta get to Miami. How about Detroit? Nah, Barry over there.
You know what? I'm gonna call y'all right now. Vanessa, I need your help.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Going with my gut. Let's go with our gut.
Well, leading off the industry update segment, we talked about this briefly in the previous segment for the deal-making section of the show. Again, UFC. UFC just did the deal with USI. The USI deal, the U.S. Integrity deal with UFC, led to the Ontario Alcohol and Gaming Commission to reinstate UFC betting for the province.
I'm glad, because that is such a popular sport. It's so much fun to bet on, and and the whole betting industry is growing up around it. They have some great podcasts. They have some great writers on UFC with the betting industry. So yeah, I'm glad it's back.
Well, now with the tighter rules on integrity and betting, everyone's a little bit more comfortable offering those events. The only thing I noticed, and I don't know why this was thrown out there, maybe it was a dig at UFC or whatever, but UFC MMA betting in Ontario was ranked behind tennis in terms of overall popularity, which was 4th or 5th in terms of betting.
Let me tell you something. Tennis is very popular.
Yes.
There's a host on VSiN who's a very good tennis handicapper, Gil Alexander.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
he's very good. He's very
always
good.
Talking about tennis. I know tennis from listening to him. So that's my tennis education.
Going on an extension of our previous story regarding Caesars up in Massachusetts. Not only did they do the deal with the Greyhound Racing track, they also launched the Caesars Racebook app in Massachusetts.
See, that's
for
great.
Horse racing.
See, that's great. I love that.
The one thing I don't know, I got to check this out. Does it include dog racing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it does.
I don't know.
There's not a lot of places offering dog racing anymore.
Last time I was in Massachusetts, I was in the Racebook in Plainridge or Plainville or whatever. What is it? Plainridge, Plainville, Plainridge Casino in the Racebook, and they simulcast. And on the simulcast, I did see dogs. So I think Florida has a lot of the dog races.
Well,
I think Florida has a majority of the dog races.
I'm actually very curious to see the Racebook, and hopefully they integrate it in like what FanDuel did with theirs
for
horse racing, for Caesars.
Okay, yeah, no, I hope so. I have the Caesars Sportsbook and Casino app on my phone in New Jersey, and I spend a lot of time in Massachusetts because we have an office up there. So I guess I would have to download the Caesars Racebook and
it's a different app.
It's
a different app.
Different app for
Yep.
And I will, because I like Caesars.
Different app, different wallets.
Different. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
NBA entered into the or joined, I should say, not entered into, joined the American Gaming Association's Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly program.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see public service messages in arena, broadcast, digital, social media activations all over the place. It's for all 30 teams. So it's going to promote responsible gambling throughout the league. Back up in Canada, we have Great Canadian, which is another brand of casinos. And,
okay.
They announced the opening of the brand new 275-room Pickering Casino Resort Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Where
is that at?
Which is located inside the Pickering Casino.
Okay, that makes sense.
Downtown Toronto.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it's a $500 million hotel.
I love city casinos.
Yeah.
They are great.
They're going to be great in New York, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
With
Saks Fifth Avenue wants a casino.
That's going to be an interesting one. That's unusual
So,
because it's on the top of the building, not the bottom.
Yeah, there's one wants to be in Times Square.
Yeah.
Or I think Jay-Z's, I don't know, he's
with
part of
Caesars.
that.
He's with
part
Caesars.
of that investment group, so that should be
Well, that one's got the backing of a lot of the Broadway troops and a lot of the restaurant.
Well, I gotta tell you, I love the fact that in their proposal you can use Caesars rewards for Broadway shows, for restaurants around the area. I love it. Hey, you're playing casino games or you're playing poker. And by the way, Caesars owns World Series of Poker, and you're playing that online, and you're playing for shows and food and things like that. So good.
But Great Canadian. Yeah. It's going to have a $500 million hotel. Going to have a 98,000 square foot casino.
Okay.
And also a Great Canadian Sportsbook.
All right.
So that's their branded sportsbook. That's it for all our industry updates right now. There's a lot more to talk about with regards to other launches going on, but let's head on over and finish up the show with our legislative roundup. Well, like the top of the show in our first segment, we're going to start off in New York. Got a whole bunch of legislation coming out of New York, a couple of them proposed by Senator Joe Addabbo.
Yeah.
Senator Addabbo introduced Senate Bill 1962, to increase the number of online New York sports betting operators.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, this is where
interesting.
He wants to have, according to the bill, which is proposed, it hasn't been voted on yet, no fewer than 14 online sports betting operators by the end of January 2024, and no fewer than 16 by the end of January 2025.
That's interesting because New York, we always talk about New York, is they have the big four mobile sports books up there, or sports books up there. They have FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and they're usually about 93 to 95% of the market share, and there's about 5 others that are bringing up the rear. It should be interesting to see if there are more mobile sports betting operators coming in and see what that does to the market share and what that does to the equation of how the sports books are doing in the Empire State there.
Well, the bill takes that into account because right now it's 51% tax rate.
Yeah.
Under the bill, if it goes through, the following tax schedule happens.
Okay.
10 to 12 operators would be a 50% tax rate.
Mm-hmm.
13 to 14 operators would be a 35% tax rate.
Oh, okay.
And then 15 or more, because he said no fewer than 16. That's what the bill's wording is.
Mm-hmm.
15 or more operators would be a 25% tax rate.
See, that makes sense because more sports books, I mean, they're not all a Caesars or a FanDuel or a BetMGM like that. These are smaller books. They have, and that might be a little burdensome for a 51% tax rate.
Well,
so.
even the 50, but when you get down to the 25%, that's doable.
Certainly,
for most
if you
folks.
want like around 15 sports books or 16 sports book in the state, you have to make it, they attractive for them to enter the state. So it should be interesting to see what happens.
Senator Addabbo also reintroduced another bill. He introduced S2343, which would allow online sportsbooks in the state to accept wagers on fixed odds horse racing.
Oh, okay.
And also, it had a dual purpose. It would also allow sports stadiums and arenas in the state to have sports betting kiosks.
Okay.
They're not allowed to right now.
But I know we're talking about sports betting, but there's also some bills that maybe online casinos and online poker as well.
That's another one.
That's down the road there.
Yep. And also in New York, we have a Senate bill that was introduced to amend the racing, parimutuel wagering, and breeding law, and also require advertisements for gambling and sports betting to include responsible gambling messages and messages about the harm gambling can do to a person.
Okay.
Over in Maryland, we have the SWARC, Sports Wagering Application Review Commission, approving the diversity plans of 10 sports books.
Great.
There's a couple more that they have to approve. Under the regulations for Maryland, once you got your sports betting license, you had 30 days to submit the diversity plan.
Okay.
10 of them did. There's still a couple more coming, so they'll be voted on and approved as they come in. And as you said at the top of the show, we've got Massachusetts coming in to play here, at least retail betting by the end of the month, January 31st.
Yeah.
They're still approving rules and regulations. They approved a lot of the potential events that that people can bet on. Highlight didn't make it.
Okay.
Mainly because of the exclusive deal they have with Bet Rivers for Highlight. That makes sense.
I know.
I mean, that's actually a rational decision.
Yeah, no, they're whittling down the approved events, and so that's good.
They're still voting on a lot of other ones. They're going to do this as they go along.
Did the approved eating thing?
They did. They approved eating.
Approved eating.
They approved competitive eating. They approved awards.
All right.
Oscars, Emmys.
All right.
They approved drafts and also the major sports as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
good.
I believe in main show last week I mentioned a sport called Pesapalo, which is almost like a baseball type game.
Did they approve that one?
No word on that.
Yeah.
That's going to come
They
down
probably
the
have
road.
to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
So.
I had to look it up.
I don't know what that is.
Also, no cornhole, no chess.
No cornhole?
No cornhole.
Oh, my God.
And no esports. As of yet.
Okay. As of yet.
Everything is going to go back in front of them when online sports betting comes into play.
Okay.
Because I think this is just for the retail books they're talking about. When online launches, they're going to have a whole new set of events.
Okay, great.
So we'll see what happens there. We also have in Mississippi. This is interesting, and I got to keep track of this one because this is amazing. We have 3 sports betting bills being introduced in Mississippi for online sports betting.
Okay.
All 3 have different aspects to them. We may see, a camel being made, a horse by committee.
Yeah.
We may see that happen in Mississippi. We may not see anything. But right now it looks like they've got 3 bills. They're going to be discussing them during this legislative session at some point, maybe. Again, we don't know. Mississippi seems to really fight the online sports betting angle of everything. So we'll just see what happens there. And Caesars made a little history. Well, I don't want to call it history, but they stepped up to the plate here in Ohio.
Okay.
One of the affiliate partners for the sports book was violating the advertising rules.
Okay, yeah, they're pretty strict there.
Yep. So Caesars decided to take the bullet. They paid the fine.
Okay.
And they got rid of the affiliate.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering if that's a precedent for other sports books to follow.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's a very interesting move. It shows a commitment to the state more so than anything else.
Good. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
And that's what you want to see.
Well, the affiliate has an obligation to follow the rules in the state that they're in. So, you know what? If you're not following the rules, you shouldn't be an affiliate.
Yep, and I'll tell you, I get multiple emails in terms of general statements from the sports books about responsible gambling.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how to do
good.
the message the right way.
Yep.
And if you're not following these, I mean, the volume of emails and messages you get regarding all this stuff, if you're not following, you're just not paying attention.
Sure.
You just don't care.
Absolutely.
You got to be careful about this stuff.
Yep.
That's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Please keep the press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. If you've been following along on TV, you'll see our ticker flying by with additional news stories that we didn't have a chance to cover. And also, you'll see a full print version of the book report posted on our blog, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button. You'll have it there.
Well, and that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.